uncover the truth about them in black and white. Secrets of the Penguins.
See you later. Have a good day.
Hey, Bertie, my guy, it's always a complete pleasure to talk to you. Once again, I'm Nigeria Chambers of Big Gold Belt Media. Today, we're talking about your latest project, Secret of the Penguins, excuse me, premiering on Nat Geo the 20th and the next day on Disney Plus. How you doing, my friend?
I am very, very good. It's good to chat with you. Did you not get the memo that the series is about penguins, though, not flamingos?
I
What's going
realized it about 2 seconds ago. I was like,
on?
if anybody's going to give me something about it, it's going to be you. That's fine.
It was
Um,
low-hanging fruit. Sorry.
But this is the fourth of the franchise, and each one of these have been completely fascinating. And anytime I see your name on anything, I'm jumping at it. But I'm wondering for you, the moment you got the opportunity to be a part of this franchise, what was sort of your excitement for it?
Well, I've actually said this a lot. I was pretty daunted when I started, pretty scared because I've filmed penguins a lot before.
Yeah,
Penguins have been filmed many times before in many iconic documentaries. March of the Penguins, la la
yeah.
la. Won an Oscar. I've heard, that's quite a big award. So people are familiar with them, and also I know firsthand that they live in places that are hard to film,
Yeah.
cold, remote, logistically challenging. And when you call something Secrets of the Penguins, you're setting expectations very, very high. But I was very excited over the 2 year period to learn that I was completely wrong. Yeah, I thought I knew penguins. I don't.
Yeah.
They continued to blow my mind throughout the filming, and I'm just pumped to see what people think because yeah, we filmed them doing crazy things, like
Crazy.
really crazy things.
Yeah. Really quick before we talk about the Penguins, we have to talk about what I now consider to be your BFF, and that's the leopard seal.
Yeah, we go way back.
Yeah. The moment I saw the leopard seal pop up, I was like, "Oh, here we go again."
Here we
I
go
wonder for you
again.
that, yeah. I just wonder for you because as a master cinematographer, but just a person who loves and studies these animals. But this one always seems to always find a very special spot in any of your project, especially when it comes down to damaging your glass. What was sort of maybe the excitement, but like the giggity moment, the moment it appeared?
Yeah, I mean, I just love them because I think to most people they are one of the most terrifying animals because they look like a dragon. They move like very that huge thick neck. They move like a dragon underwater.
Yeah.
They're so mysterious. They're huge. They're got teeth like a grizzly bear. But I've spent a lot of time in the water with them, and yeah, they're just curious and bold, and they've all got different personalities, and I just love, it's a bit like Christmas getting in the
Yeah.
water with them, because you never know the present that you're going to get to open. How is this leopard seal gonna react? Some of them are shy, some of them are curious, some of them are bold, some of them are really pushy, and that changes during your time with them. So
Yeah.
I sort of describe diving with them. It's a bit like being in a bar and you're trying to figure out like what this person is, like what's their deal, and are they going to start a bar fight? And it's important just to like when you're in a bar and it's getting more and more rowdy, and you're
Yeah.
like something bad's about to happen, I'm going to leave. That is, I'm not for 1 second saying that leopard seals aren't potentially a dangerous animal, but you make them dangerous by being there. So it's up
Yeah.
to us to manage the interaction.
Yeah.
And yeah, as soon as they get a bit too excited, a bit too boisterous, the bar fight's about to kick off. I go, all right, thanks very much. See you later.
They're like, "Hey, Bert, I heard you filming something. What we got going on? When I'm on? Where's my residual check
Yeah,
from the
yeah, yeah. Where
last
are the
one?
penguins? Where are
Hello?"
the penguins? Let's go.
One thing I always tell anybody about when some of my few times of meeting you was really one of my favorite conversations was really about how the world begun to heal during the pandemic. And you started to see things in nature that had never been seen before or certain patterns being done that were at one point essentially prehistoric, now returning back. Now the world has really went back to its old ways, shall I say. And a lot of this 3 part docuseries is about the mystery of why certain things are happening. And there is commentary around it. But I'm wondering for you, just because you've now seen it sort of in 3 stages, before, during, and after, what do you sort of assess as the state of the world? And do you attest a lot of some of these very peculiar situations due to to animals and all of nature really starting to have to readapt to what it was before the pandemic?
Yeah, I mean that's a very insightful question. Yeah, I remember talking about it. It was at Comic-Con, I think.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so look, it's no secret that the world's in trouble. The natural world is in trouble, and we are part of the natural world, this amazing life support system. And I think it's easy to feel hopeless with that. But I think there's two things that give me hope and make me feel positive. One is, as you pointed out, during the pandemic, we were all locked away. Um, Nature was very quick to bounce back. So that's what gives me hope. The bounce back ability of nature is unbelievable. If you give it the chance, it comes back fast in a big way. So that's exciting. And I think the other way is just to when we approach looking after the natural world, I think about it on a local level, because if you talk about saving the world, like the world is in trouble, it's such a big, complex, kind of intangible problem. Well, of course, then the solution is also
Yeah.
intangible and big. And, the world is so divided. We're so polarized. So don't worry about the whole world. We are all in control of a little wild place, whether that be, a little corner of your apartment, or if you have a garden, the corner of your garden, or the park down the road, or if you're a, giant, significant political figure and you have control of national parks. We all have control of these little, these wild places. So we can all make our little corner that bit wilder and that bit friendlier to the natural world. And we should want to do that, not just because it makes you feel warm and fuzzy inside and it's nice to see birds and whatever. You should, do it because it is good for us.
Yeah.
When nature is healthy, we are healthy. Productive soils, clean air, fresh water, medicine, all the stuff that we get from nature and we take for granted. So I'm hopeful, I'm excited. And yeah, these penguins, they are not only amazing, cute, fluffy, funny animals that we should want to look after, but they're indicators of ocean health. So if the penguins are in trouble, we're in trouble. The penguins win,
Mm.
we win. So let's help the penguins win.
I love that. I love that. Yeah, they let's talk about some of the first times ever, and it's you. Of course, we're going to see some things we've never seen before, but like really, really, you just outdid yourself here. I, in the very beginning, first episode, the Emperor practicing the egg transfer was so freaking cool. Because I think sort of how it was kind of narrated was this whole idea of will there be an egg, but if there and when and will if and will there be an egg, but in the meantime, let's practice because 60 seconds on ice and this is all a done deal. And to see them have that moment together, mother, father, do so, for us as the viewers, like we take some of these things for granted. We just assume nature and animals are just doing these things because they just inheritedly just do it. It's just in their DNA to do it. But to see them practice was so mind blowing. I want to know for you because as you said, there's a little bit of a pressure going into a series, secrets. And it's like, what would the secrets be? What could be told that hasn't been seen before? And then you see this. Did you realize what you were seeing when you saw it? Did you capture it and you kind of pinch yourself afterwards? What was sort of just your mindset upon you watching something that has never
Yeah.
been shown before on TV?
Yeah, so that amazing scene was actually shot by my colleagues Pete and Helen, good friends of mine, and yeah, amazing bit of cinematography. And what is so cool about that is it's a very human kind of relatable thing. The expecting parents are kind of nervous on an edge, and they're oh, should we practice holding the baby, and how should we, yeah, my brother has literally just had a little boy born, and yeah, I could totally like see, the nervous
Yeah.
the nervous kind of frantically practicing. Yeah, it was I could relate to that.
Yeah.
Um, the other thing to mention about that sequence that you can't tell because we're in kind of animal world rather than the behind the scenes world.
Hmm.
But Pete and Helen, that's they lay their eggs in the middle of winter, the Antarctic winter. They're the only animal to raise their young in the Antarctic winter. It is the coldest, windiest, darkest place on Earth. So that means Pete and Helen were there, not just witnessing this amazing behavior, and they have to put up with the conditions like the emperors do.
Yeah.
And they had a day when it was minus 54 degrees. Um, and like, I've minus 20, minus 30, that's really cold. Minus 54, that's like, yeah, it's like being in space, like
Yeah.
crazy.
Ooh, 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 ooh. And then obviously we go to the next moment of the 50-foot cliff jump. Holy hell.
Yeah, that was
Because
crazy. I mean,
yeah,
yeah, penguins don't read the script. That was not.
because I know
Whoa,
you
whoa,
keep
whoa, guys! This is the wrong place. You meant to get in. The script says you get in where the sea ice is 1 or 2 feet high. What are you doing?
and that was part of your commentary on it was like, up, I think they made a wrong turn. And you was like, wait,
Yeah,
what's
yeah,
going
bad,
on here?
very bad. And they'd never, that's never been filmed before. So we had no idea. It's funny now in hindsight, but we had no idea if they could, survive a fall from that height. And
Yeah,
we'd spend the last 2.5 months getting to know these little chicks.
yeah.
You're bonding with them. You gain an appreciation and an emotional connection to them. And here they were, it's like watching your little kid walk up to the edge of a 50-foot cliff and go, "Hey, Dad, I'm gonna jump here. Is that cool?"
And that's what I was going to say because anybody that knows your work knows you're going to keep it real. And I'm just thinking to myself, like, all right, Bertie. So just a few scenes ago, you're like buttering me up, having me in tears with this short, baby penguin by itself, and you're so concerned about it. Then the next moment, you're like, all right, but anyway, why you were concerned about the little baby
Yeah,
one that made it?
great, great
Here's the
day of
ones that's going to jump to their death.
yeah. Well, I mean, it's we haven't like Disneyfied this story. Like this is the reality of the emperor penguin's life, and it was an emotional roller coaster for us, and I hope it is an emotional roller. It sounds like it was an emotional roller coaster for you too.
Yes, within minutes, I'm just like, oh,
And,
tears,
and I
tears,
think
tears.
the reason that that's important is this show, of course, we want it to be educational, and it's full of facts about penguins, and you'll learn loads of interesting biology and all that stuff. That's great, but you got to feel something. I think
Yes,
that's really important. When that's why we humans love telling and hearing stories.
yes.
We want to feel, and yeah, you're gonna feel a whole bunch of things in this show. That's for sure.
Yes, you are. I got two more things I want to get by really, really quickly. The rockhoppers and their baby rockaroni chicks. I got to tell you, I love this. This was the perfect fitting way to end the three-part series here because when we see Mama Rockhopper stand up against the sea lion, I mean, across the board, we know mama bears and their cubs, the analogy,
Uh-huh.
where they would do anything to protect their own and to see
And
her
it and
almost
it
give up
well,
everything.
yeah, it's one thing when it's a mama bear protecting it. I mean, it's a bear, but this
Yeah,
is
yeah.
a little rockhopper penguin. That sea lion. I heard today that sea lion was 70 times the weight of that penguin.
To be renowned as a legend for doing that, I want to know, is there a sense, and again, moms just do what moms do. I don't think any mom goes out in the world and do anything for their kids for some type of award or accolade behind it. But because of the colony, because of how colonies work, and because all of them witnessed what she's did, is she treated in a different fashion once she goes back?
And what do you think? She goes back and everyone's just like, oh,
Yeah.
like vibes, flippers. As much as I'd love to tell you, I thought that was true. Yeah. I mean that. No, the cool thing is that is normal for penguins, just being hard as nails and tough. I don't think any of them are going to react to that. They're going to be like, yeah, sweet, nice one,
That's what we
next.
do.
That's what we do. Yeah. So no, I don't think that she came back to a fanfare. I think yeah, she just went about her day, and every day in the life of a penguin is a crazy soap opera, and that is just one of the crazy things that happened to that penguin that one day in its life.
That's it.
Yeah,
That's
their
insane.
lives are relentless.
Last question I want to ask you is, I gotta feed the internet a little bit here. So I think for us as viewers, we always get this idea of like what will we do, and it's because like when you watch these things, we're so immersed from an educational standpoint, from an emotional standpoint, but ultimately when it comes down to certain situations happening, adding commentary. You watch a horror film, you're like, don't go that way. But when it comes down to stuff like this, and I consider you my boy, so every time I see you do something, I'm like, Bernie, protect yourself, beat, watch your back. But I'm wondering for you, just in the sense of like and as you mentioned it and even spoke about it during this, the circle of life. When you get in situations where, or if there's a moral dilemma where you may be potentially able to do something to assist, to help, to navigate, how do you really balance that between allowing the circle of life and knowing that possibly just the littlest thing you can do can just be a life-saving trajectory for a whole group of whatever species?
Yeah, it's a great question. I mean, it's sort of the golden rule traditionally for wildlife filmmakers is we're not there to intervene, we're there to document, and that's what you have to do. Look, if the animal is in trouble because of something a human has done, let's say I've found turtles caught in fishing nets, I will intervene immediately and I'll
Okay.
cut them out, or I'll go find someone that can help or whatever. But in the case of a wild behavior, in the case of the chick stood at the top of that enormous cliff, you know, e- even if I should say, even if I wanted to intervene, which I didn't, I couldn't have got to where they were. They were in a really dangerous place to be. Big crevasse filled, huge cracks in the ice. Couldn't have got there. That whole sequence was filmed on a drone from far away, so couldn't have even helped. But I think the other thing is, they to us, it's very easy to analyze each encounter as a bad thing, but they got to learn life lessons. And we assume that that's a really crazy thing for them to do, but I think actually, although we filmed this for the first time, they've been doing that for a very long time. Generations of emperor penguin chicks jumping off those cliffs. So um, it's it's easy to kind of micro analyze something and assume, oh, I know how to help. That's not the reality. Yeah, you got to let Mother Nature do what Mother Nature does.
Amazing. Yeah, the commentaries are there now. We always like, what would we do better? It's like you all wouldn't survive one day in the elements where they've been at. So let the
Exactly.
professionals do what they do.
Yeah. I have to go
Well,
back one day and practice the emperor penguin cliff jump there.
yeah, exactly.
Cannonball.
Well, Bertie, for a moment I was like, what's my guy been doing for 2 years? And it was so excited to see you back and attached to the legendary franchise Secrets of. And this time it is Secrets of the Penguin, premiering once again on National Geographic April 20th, which is at 8, 7 Central, and the next day on Disney Plus. Don't make me wait 2 years to talk to you again, buddy. I'm always gonna be a fan, but I can't wait to hear you talk about the work and the contributions you provide to society and to the world and your documentation of everything. It's always a complete pleasure.
Oh, thanks very much. Well, we're already shooting a new season of Animals Up Close. So that's coming very, very soon. So yeah, we'll be chatting soon.
All right, all right. You heard it here first. Thank you so much, Bertie. I hope you have a good rest of your day. Thank you so much for your time.
Thanks a bunch. Have a good one.
Absolutely.
Ridiculous.